After you.
So, who are you?
I'm David Thaxton. I play Javert. Who are you?
I'm Peter Lockyer. I play Valjean.
For me, you have to kind of forget that they're well known. Because if you walk in saying, I'm playing a really well-known role, then I think you're going to have preconceived ideas and expectations and whatever on your shoulders. So I think you just need to try your hardest to approach it from a point of view of keeping everything fresh and keeping everything new. That's very, very, very difficult when your show is 30 years old and there have been however many people worldwide playing the role that you're playing now. But I think it's important to at least try, because then you're going to get the most truthful performance you can give, I think.
Yeah, I'll echo that. I think even though the show's been running 30 years, this is what our lives are right now. So we're coming in, and this is current for us. So it doesn't take any imagination to be anything but what we are. And so yeah, I think we're on the same boat there. I played Valjean on the U.S. tour. That's the newer version of the show that's playing on Broadway right now. And I did that for a little over a year. And it has slightly a different sensibility to it. This production, the original production, I find is a little more romantic, has deeper colors and hues, a little more subtle, and the newer production tends to be a little more overt and in your face a little bit. So it's been fun to reinvestigate how I'm playing this role here. I think how the audiences respond during the show is a little different, but I think the final response is always the same. We're gonna get the reaction of Les Mis that we're supposed to get. It's a story about the totality of human experience. We're gonna feel that ultimately. Every character in the show goes through an incredible journey, and everybody in the audience can relate to somebody in the show. So everywhere I've ever done Les Mis throughout the world, the reaction is the same. Just massive, massive applause at the end of the show.
For me, it's really weird. I realised a few weeks ago that at the end of our year in this show, I will have been a professional actor for 10 years, and 5 of those years have been spent in this building. So it's very, very, very second nature to me. Everything about this building, this stage and this and everything, it's also just part of what I've done for such a long time. So I don't have that sort of, when you go into a new job and it's a theatre you've never been in before. And I always find that when you're in a theatre, if you're doing a West End job and you go to another theatre for whatever reason, for an audition or seeing someone or something like that, and you walk and you go, oh, this is all kind of familiar but a bit different. It always reminds me of going to different schools, going playing football at different schools. And it's a bit like your school, but it's not your school. So if this were a different theatre, I'd have that sort of crazy excitement. So I don't have that sort of overawing sense of trepidation, because everything is just so familiar. But in terms of the show itself, it's crazy. I several occasions in rehearsals and even on stage, I have this muscle memory thing that means I gear myself up to sing a line that isn't my line anymore, which is really really fun.
No, you're the old guy now.
I'm the old guy. I'm now the old guy.
It's interesting. I'd love to hear what your answer is to this for the UK audiences. In the States, I was on tour before the movie began shooting. The director came to see the show, not while I joined just after he saw it. So actually he was influenced by the stage production a little bit. But what the film can do that we can't on stage is get extreme close-ups with cameras and do things that we're not able, that we do on stage with lighting and staging. And conversely, we can do things on stage that they can't. So I think it's just another telling of the show. We're going to have, when we're all gone, directors are going to reinterpret this over and over and over, because it's a timeless piece. It's just going to keep being done over and over. So on tour, the audiences were sold out. They were raucous before the movie. They were raucous after. So being in the show, it's a little hard to tell what the effect is on the audience, but it's certainly more ubiquitous, for sure.
I noticed a difference, certainly coming back into it now, certainly from when I was very first in it 8-9 years ago, that, I mean, I got told the other day that our company manager's been here 3 years, and she said in 3 years we've not shut the upper circle. And when I was here before, the upper circle was shut kind of regularly, because that's just what happens in, West End theatres. You have fluctuating audience numbers, and that was fine. It was just part and parcel of it. I think that has possibly as much to do with Susan Boyle and the whole X Factor, I Dreamed a Dream stuff, because I was here when that happened, and there was a very noticeable difference then. But since then, the film's come along and it's an enormous thing, isn't it? It's massive, and so I think that's really solidified the people that were interested in coming anyway. But of course, it's going to open this show up to God knows how many people. So many millions of people will have seen that film who haven't or hadn't seen this show, and what's the first thing they're going to do if they like that film? They're going to come and see the show. So, and I've just seen another house full sign outside. It's rammed. It's brilliant. It's great.
And don't you feel we have, like, you and I have both spent enough time in the show that we feel ownership of it? But when I talk to people at the stage door, they feel just as much ownership of it
completely.
As well. So now they're seeing a film, so they have that experience with who knows who from their family or their boyfriend or their spouse, and have that memory, and then they come to the show and have that memory. Everybody just feels an ownership for it. So
Completely.
What's special about Les Mis is it's a personal experience. It's very individual how people see this story and this show. They're going to connect to a very specific storyline in it. I've met people that were in prison for years and years and reread this book over and over and over, and they said it kept them alive, and they have tattoos that's 24601 and things like that. And so it's a very personal experience, not just to us on stage, but to the audience. And we have, as far as the enduring legacy, you have that book, you have unbelievable music, you have incredible lyrics and brilliant minds that shaped it, and it's never going to go away. It's that beautiful.
People being at the very, so these incredible people all working together and all being at the top of their game, doing the same thing. So be it Claude Michel and Alain and what they wrote, or John and Trevor and their direction, but John Napier, everything that
it's
everyone
like
was
striking,
doing. Boom, this thing happened. On top of all that, above all of that, for me, the answer to that question for me is just, it's the story. It's got like the best story ever. It actually has everything. And there's something in it for everyone. There is something, like you said earlier, everyone can relate to something in Les Miserables because it has everything. So there's something for everyone to relate to. It's just epic in every sense of the word.
We never get to talk like that. What is it for you?
What?
That connects you?
My first connection with it was I came to see it when I was 10 or something, and I really loved Honduras. Funnily enough, yeah, I really, really loved Honduras. I can remember One Day More, and I remember the flag, and I can remember Honduras. And Phil Cavill was Jean Valjean.
Huh?
You out there, Phil? In Essex, wherever you are. He's lovely. But what is it at the start? It's so. What I really like about it, it's so bloomin' hopeful in the face of everything. Yeah, so bloomin' hopeful in the face of everything. I mean, terrible things happen to everyone all the time, and yet they remain hopeful. I think that's really important. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's something similar. Just that quest to be better.
Yeah.
That quest to better yourself through every decision in life. Yeah.
The thing about iconic theatrical moments is, if you're doing them, they aren't iconic to you.
Yeah.
Because you can't see it. So my favourite bit as a viewer, and I still maintain is the best bit in the show, is that thing that I went, oh my God, what's that? When I was 10, is Honduras' entrance in One Day More. That's my favourite bit in the show. What's your favourite bit in the show?
Great bit. I always say the same thing. It'd be easy for me to say, wow, I get to sing Bring Him Home, or I get to sing the soliloquy. But for me, Drink With Me is such a poignant moment in the show. And it would be, if it were a play, an actual song still. Somebody would have a guitar playing it, And it's like a campfire song that people are riffing philosophy. And I get to stand over there and just watch and experience it. And I just feel like it's such a dramatically supported moment in the show that I love to just be there for it every night. Yeah. What you got?
Well,
Your best pitch.
it's so much more than. I mean, on top of it being an incredible piece of theatre, not just musical theatre, theatre. The problem you have is because it's been running for so long, and it's such an iconic thing now. I mean, it is a national institution. It's a tourist attraction, which is amazing to think that something, Phantom is as well. It's amazing to think that pieces of theatre, the Mousetrap, can turn into something like that. But if you strip all of that away and you watch it with fresh eyes, having never heard of it, it's an unbelievable piece of theatre. And unless you have shards of flint for a heart, then there will be something in it that you'll really, really like. And it is a national institution. It's so you're going to go to Madame Tussauds once in your life, aren't you? You're going to go to the Tower of London. It's literally that big. It's brilliant.
You mean flint like the like match, like lighting?
No, I mean like a big chunk of rock.
Okay. See, I'm learning all the
cold,
British
dead.
terms for things here while I'm here, so I half the time I have no idea what people are saying.
Five. That frightened you, didn't it? Someone told me Frankie said you don't say fortnight.
No, that sounds so Shakespearean to me. It's a couple weeks, not fortnight. I would say if you haven't seen Les Mis, and even if you have shards of flint for a heart, you're going to be moved anyway. You can't not be moved with this music and this story. It's virtually impossible.